What is going on? I want to thank you for coming to Vape with the Viking. So I got something a little different for you today. Not really big into the disposable markets, but I got contacted by SMPO to show you guys their new SMPO Mesh semi-disposable all-in-one mod device, whatever you want to call it. They did send me a couple of them. I really like this color here, though. That's they called it, I believe it was inky. I have a picture to show you of all the different colors here in just a moment. But I'm not a disposable user or semi-disposable user. So at first I was really like, it's not my cup of tea. I really don't do mesh. But I do want to carry something at work. I don't want to bring in my big old mods and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, sure, send it to me. I'll try it out. Hopefully I give you a decent review, but I'm going to be an honest review. But I really don't do disposables and I really don't do mesh. So I was like, all right, let's try this. I was actually very pleasantly surprised. At first, I will be honest, I was like, man, the quality of this is, it's not great. But, you know, I'm used to mech mods and higher end stuff and or indestructibles and stuff like that. And then I really started looking at the market and I'm like, duh, it's a disposable. It's not meant to last all that long. So you're being a little hypercritical there, Viking. So but you know, most people just want performance. What I really kind of liked about this object though was it's refillable. And that's what they mean by semi-disposable. It is disposable into the fact that plastic tank, you can't take anything off. You know, it's you know, the threading or all that has been pretty much kind of put together so you can't do anything. But, you know, it is rechargeable. USB-C, which is pretty good. 1,000 milliamperage on there. So it's taken a while to actually draw one down. But, you know, that whole semi-disposable is it's refillable. So if it'll actually, it's refillable. So that's where this semi-disposable comes into play. Plus, it's got a little more battery life, a little bit better of a battery and everything to make it so it's not just you do your 500 or 800 or 1,000 puffs on a disposable and toss it because either the flavor's gone, battery's gone, or it's empty. This is meant to, basically use as any refillable vape device. It's just not going to last as long. You can't change anything out, so on and so forth. So what I want to show you here real quick is the couple little key features on it. Refillable, rechargeable, airflow adjustable, 20 watts. And then there's all their colors. And of course the red and black was inky. They sent me that one. And of course orange. And the reason I have two of them set up here for you is one, they sent me two, but two, I have one more of a restricted direct lung. Even though it does say restricted direct lung, it's only 20 watts. So for me, it's like, nah, I bet you I can get an MTL out of there because my restricted direct lung, definitely more than 20 watts. But on the restricted direct lung, I've been testing it with the strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, new lab from Darkstar. So been having that in there for about 3 days now. But of course, the longest one I tested was more of the MTL because for me, mesh, not warm enough to do a restricted lung for me, and 20 watts, definitely not powerful enough. So we decided to go ahead and do that in an MTL. So on that one, I have the airflow pretty much closed off. But what I ran in there is some lobotomy, one that I mixed up specifically for MTL. It is a 6 milligram. And I'll show you how they perform real quick, and then we'll go over some, of course, pros and cons. And this is the MTL. It's actually pretty good. Which I was kind of worried about that because the airflow adjustment, of course, again, it's not going to be super exact, super high end and all that because it is a disposable and these things are really, really cheap, as in price wise. But it does actually, at first when I was fiddling with it, it was like, oh man, that thing's really not doing much. But it actually does, so I was pleasantly surprised on that. That's probably why I should just call this a review. SMPO Mesh, semi-disposable vape, pleasantly surprised. Okay, so now this one's more of the direct lung. It is all the way open. and doing that new fruit. I keep forgetting which in there because it's strawberry, raspberry, blueberry. I'm strawberry blind, so it's raspberry, blueberry for me. So, so yeah, not tons and tons and tons of clouds, but the main important thing for me, it's enough cloud on a direct lung that I can feel it, but it's tasty. It's actually, I would definitely suggest more of fruit flavors when it comes to mesh anyway, whether it's disposable, whether it's a mesh RTA, mesh RDA, does not matter to me. Fruits shine through those. When it comes to heavier like custards, desserts, stuff like that, they don't tend to really do that well. So that's why I definitely had two different fruits, even though lobotomy is got a little more of that sherbet in there. When you MTL it, it's okay that it doesn't have tons of power. So yeah, that's definitely on there. So pros and cons. I would have to say pros, it's really handy little device just to throw in your pocket and go. It has a decent 4 mil capacity for a little 20 watt mesh. Would definitely get you through pretty much a day unless you're just really hardcore going to town on restrictive direct lung. Some people might not like the I guess branding on it. Here, it's better to see on this one because of the way my lights are set up. So the branding on this, it's kind of all over it. But I mean, for me, that's never been a big issue. So, but they do also, if you go to their Instagram, they do like custom orders as well, more for wholesale, and you can put any kind of design on there you want. So yeah, Pro, the battery lasts very well for an all day. The capacity, unless you're going to town, would last an all day. The fact it's refillable, and the fact that it's really inexpensive. So you can buy several of these and just have them there for either emergencies if you don't really use disposals that much, or if you are like me and have a manual labor job, pop a couple of these in your pocket or in a bag preferably, and yeah, you won't have to worry about lugging around, vape luggage is what I call it. The one thing I did find that I would have to say is a con, Pro USB-C charges super fast. So two things that I would say is more of a con. One's really subjective. So as you vape on it, there is a light that comes on. So let's see if you see it. And it changes colors and all that kind of stuff. Colors don't mean anything different that I've found out. It does not like blue is half charged, red is almost dead, stuff like that. It changes colors. Kind of hard to see there. But, so if you want to be stealthy, that could be a problem. But the one, since that's a subjective con, the one pure con to me, no matter who you are, filling this thing. Filling this thing was kind of a nightmare for me because the fact that I use mostly Dark Star bottles, so it is a bigger tip. But even a traditional bottle, which I tried, that just has, the regular unicorn bottle tips, still had a bit of an issue. I had to end up using a syringe. So if you have needle tips, or if you have a syringe, if you do your own mixing or something like that, that's going to be the mess-free way to go. It's just because that opening is way too small, in my opinion. Even though it's pretty big for the device, but the whole device is small, so the opening is just way too small. You could probably get one of the really thin nozzles. I think, like I showed you, because I didn't use this, but maybe the Vape Taser or the really, really small ones could get in there, but you still have an issue of there's nowhere for the air to escape. So when using a needle tip or syringe, it worked out really well. So that is literally the only real solid concrete con I have, is filling is kind of a pain. But tons of pros, works really well. Flavor is on point. The airflow actually works. USB-C and a decent sized battery. So what I would definitely suggest is, I only found one place that's selling to customers. So use your Google, look up SMPO, and you'll be able to find them. Or you can also check them out on Instagram, and here's their Instagram. You can check them out there. And yeah, like I said, if you're just looking for a really inexpensive device, you just don't want a true disposable because you want to put your own flavor in, definitely check out SMPO's Mesh device. Like I said, I think it's pretty killer. But that's all I got for the SMPO Mesh semi-disposable vape device. I want to thank each and every one of you, yet again, for coming to Vape with a Viking, and I'll check you later.